So today we are going to be talking about contact center modernization and intelligent automation in education, with the objective of transforming student support and increasing the engagement and experience for students, whilst also at the same time reducing the sort of burden and effort in maintaining that. A little bit about me and my background. So I work for a company called The Scale Factory, part of 1010, and we are a technology services provider in the cloud, quality engineering, test automation, and intelligent automation space. We're headquartered in the UK, and we've got a track record in working with local government organisations here in the UK, including in the education sector, and a lot of ed tech as well. And because we're talking about AWS Connect today, we've got some of our credentials up on the screen in this space. So we're an AWS consulting partner, and we have various accreditations like the Migration and Modernisation Services Specialism, all the way through to the AWS Generative AI competency. And we're going to draw on these as we sort of work through the content today and talk about contact center modernization. A little bit about me. I'm Mike, and I'm Chief Product and Technology Officer at The Scale Factory. And I've been with the organization for 11 years now. And prior to joining The Scale Factory, I worked in telephony. I did a lot of infrastructure automation in this space. And a lot of the infrastructure and software and systems running call centers. And I have to say, like, things have moved on a lot since then. So I'm really excited by the content we've got coming up today, because in the last 11 years, things have really transformed. And I think for those of you dialing in, you get to see what is possible today and the benefits of that. I am not the only person presenting today. I've got a few people doing all of the heavy lifting and the bulk of the work. So we have Mo, a senior specialist solutions architect from AWS, who will be giving a rundown of Amazon Connect with a quick demo. We've got Rufino, a practice director in CX and contact center space for UiPath, talking about some of the automation that you can do in contact centers. And my colleague Sean, Head of Intelligent Automation at 1010, will be joining us for the Q&A, and can help answer any questions you have about automating any of your processes in the contact center, or actually like more widely in your organization. The agenda today, what we're covering, it looks like quite a lot, but we're gonna give you a quick high level run through of this, and then follow up with more resources in each of these areas by email. So we've got welcome and introductions. Then we're going to move on to building modern contact centers with Amazon Connect, and a demo of what that looks like. So we're going to show you what a modern contact center in the education space will look like, and Mo's going to give a quick demo. And then we're going to move on to intelligent automation using UiPath and how that plugs into the contact center. And Rufino will be taking you through that. And then come back to me and I'll talk about what investment you can get from AWS into your contact center modernization project, and the next steps, how you can move forward with that. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the end as well. As we go through the content today, please feel free to drop any questions that you have into the chat, or you can use the Q&A option as well. So on your screen, you should see a couple of buttons. There's a chat button, open that, throw any questions in there you have as you go along. We'll try and answer them as we go throughout. But as we get towards the end, we'll pull up those questions as well and answer those properly. And if you hit the Q&A button, you can also pop your questions in there. And at the end, we'll bring those up and answer those too. Before I hand over to the other presenters, I just want to do a little bit of scene setting here to give you a bit of an understanding of what you might get out of today. So for people dialing in, you probably fall into one of two camps. One of those is exploring your options. So you might be sat on this webinar today thinking, okay, what benefits might I have from modernizing the contact center? And could Amazon Connect be the ideal solution for that? And some people dialed in today might have already adopted Amazon Connect or gone through that contact center modernization journey and are now looking at leveling that up. So how do you automate some of your manual processes around interacting with students in a contact center kind of context and bring that into that journey to really maximize that investment? And we've got the, mention of AI there. So a little bit of a demonstration on how we can use AI through today in the contact center as part of that as well. Another little bit of a context and scene setting here. We speak with lots of organizations every day, every week, and here are some of the big challenges that we see in the education sector. So things like peak demand periods, so university clearing, results day, enrollment processes, rising operational costs, so legacy contact center software and licenses, just really expensive and take a lot of time and resources to sort of maintain those. Student expectations have moved forward as well. So students want support 24/7 and via multiple channels. So not just picking up a phone and speaking to somebody, but also sending an email or interacting with a chatbot or firing off a quick WhatsApp if they've got a question. Agent productivity. So a lot of time agents spend just manual tasks, either during that call or in the follow-up. And then lastly, kind of touches on a lot of these scalability constraints. So things like during the clearing period, bringing in lots of agency staff, getting them up to speed quickly, onboarded onto the system, and needing the system to flex with that capacity as well. So we're going to touch on a lot of these as we go through the content today and sort of show you how you can solve some of these and, with modern contact center software. So I am going to hand over to Mo from AWS, and he is going to take you through what Amazon Connect is all about.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I'll begin to share my screen. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen okay. So I'm Momia. I'm a specialist solutions architect in the Amazon Connect team at AWS, aligned to UK public sector. So I kind of help UK public sector organizations understand how they can modernize their contact center environment, leveraging Amazon Connect. So delighted to be kind of here today to speak about that. Before we kind of dive into some of the features and capabilities of Amazon Connect, I think it's useful to discuss why customers and where they find kind of value from Amazon Connect more broadly. So educational institutions often struggle with kind of fragmented technology for their contact center environment. Traditionally, what we see is universities have a separate platform to handle their voice, something else to handle chat, something else to handle email. With Amazon Connect, you can consolidate all of those technologies into a single unified application. Amazon Connect brings together generative AI and AI at the core of the features that we kind of develop. And it's really enabled in the moments that matter, whether that be to kind of enhance that agent experience to help provide features that reduce handle time, or improve that citizen experience by ensuring prospective students' routes to admissions or existing students' route to the support services, making sure you route the right students to the right place. Amazon Connect allows you to kind of bring together a unified view of the students at the point of contact. So what this means is you can pull in data from multiple different sources about information you hold and present it in a single place to an advisor. And what that does is it really helps the advisor and student experience. With Amazon Connect, you inherit all of the kind of security, governance, and compliance posture you'd expect from being hosted on a leading cloud supplier in AWS, and it's a pay-as-you-go pricing model. So you're not no longer kind of tied into kind of long-term contractual commitments. You can simply pay as you go. Mike touched on clearing, a kind of a big event for universities, as you'll all be familiar with. And with Amazon Connect, you can scale up and down as you need. So there's no longer any kind of need to worry about spinning up big infrastructure projects to identify if you can handle the load. With Amazon Connect, we work with you to ensure that happens seamlessly behind the scenes. Um, Amazon Connect, you not only get a modern contact center, you stay modern. We are continuously releasing features in the background seamlessly that you can leverage when you're ready to do so. You can drive things like automation and simplification through the use of these features as well. And you can test and deploy all of this in single kind of business cases just to kind of justify the ROI before you ramp up into full production. So Amazon Connect kind of reimagines the contact center for the AI era. Businesses finally have this single platform which reduces operational complexity, drive intelligent, efficient experiences both students and agents expect, all backed by the scalability and innovation of AWS. So Amazon Connect kind of has a whole host of features, and all of these features are built from the ground up. So they're not third-party acquisitions that we've brought. They are built by our product teams to work seamlessly together. And the way we kind of like to group these features is by persona. So you've got the student in the top left there, and this is essentially the ways the student can reach out to you through the kind of the modality of their choice. So whether that be through voice, web, mobile, on the channel that they want, initiating an inbound voice call, through a chat, initiating an email, SMS, create an offline task. You can also get students to contact you through a web browser or a mobile app through WebRTC without having to dial a number, and also have video calling capabilities built in. We also support Apple Message for Business and WhatsApp as well as integration into kind of social media channels. So students really do have a choice in kind of reaching out to you on their channel of choice, all backed by Amazon Connect. And what this enables is a single orchestration layer. So if you change your voice experience, what you can do if you choose to is replicate that experience across all the other communication channels. What this enables you to do is provide that seamless student experience across the different channels. Amazon Connect leverages generative AI and conversational chatbots to kind of create these enhanced self-service experiences so you can be available 24/7 to support your students, providing frequently asked questions through kind of tapping into enterprise knowledge data to provide that customized response. We also have a capability to allow you to proactively reach out to students through the use of outbound campaigns. So perhaps things like reminders and informational messages, you can leverage Amazon Connect to proactively reach out on email, voice, and SMS as well. And from an advisor side of things, Amazon Connect equips advisors with a rich unified agent workspace application, which allows agents to handle all of these different channels on a single desktop application. And this prevents the need from having to switch between multiple applications, reducing that handle time and providing that better agent experience. Amazon Connect has a native case management capability built in, guided workflows at the point of contact, and also real-time agent assist. So Amazon Connect is listening to customer conversations as you're having them and recommending to agent how to handle that inquiry best. We also have the ability to integrate third-party applications within the agent workspace. And our partners like UiPath, which you'll learn about a bit later on today, have developed kind of products to further enhance automation within Amazon Connect. Analytics and insights is a hugely important part of any contact center, and we provide a rich insight into what's happening. You can determine trends, identify categories, and kind of evaluate agent performance through generative AI across all of your contacts. Amazon Connect also provides a native WFM capability as well to ensure you can track and manage workforce and create forecasts for your contact center environment. There's a rich amount of data available within any organization and universities in particular. Amazon Connect allows you to pull all of this data in and create these kind of personalized experiences off the back of that. So you can view contact history of a student across any channel at the point of contact, leverage customer profile data from multiple different sources, and tap into enterprise knowledge bases as well. So I'm going to move into the demo now. And what you'll kind of see in this demo, and this is only a very small part of Amazon Connect, is essentially a student calling in to discuss clearing options. We'll see how we've leveraged Amazon Connect to kind of provide this personalized experience for this student. But when this call transitions to an agent, we'll see how Amazon Connect empowers that agent experience to deliver a successful student outcome. You can see I've got my agent Miguel logged in. They're set to available, so they're ready to receive interactions. I'm going to place a call into the IVR as a student, and you'll hear the IVR in the background as I place this call, and I'll get this call delivered to this agent. So I'm going to place the call now.
Welcome to Acme University Momia. Thanks for calling. I can see you've applied for Bachelor of Science, Software Engineering course starting in September. For your course, the entry requirements are 180 UCAS points. Please let us know if you've achieved the required grades for your offer and want to confirm your place. Or if you didn't meet your grades and want to speak to an admissions advisor, please let us know.
I didn't receive my grades. I'd like to speak to an admissions advisor.
Sure, let me route you to an admissions advisor who will be able to discuss your available options. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received. Clearing.
So I've got my call delivered to this agent here. Now, you would have heard as I placed the call into the IVR recognized who I was, and that was based on my telephone number that I dialed in from. Of course, you can create an experience where you capture a student ID number or a reference number of some description in the IVR, and you can do a lookup against the caller that way as well. As a result of recognizing who I was, the IVR was able to determine my name, the course I had applied for, and then gave me two personalized options. Do I want to confirm the grades for the course, or do I want to speak to an admissions advisor if I hadn't received the grades I was expecting, which is the option this student chose. Um, as a result of choosing that option, the call obviously got delivered to this advisor here. And on the left-hand side, you see the call control panel, and you can carry out call control functionality like place the call on hold, mute or unmute, transfer the call to a different department. You've got the caller's phone number presented to the agent as well. Also, within the agent workspace, you've got details about this student. So you've got the student's full name, the course they'd applied for, the offer type, and the reason for the call. As per the IVR, didn't achieve the required grades, the queue the call came in on. And this is presented to the agent at the point of contact, really giving them context about what this call is about to really help the agent handle effectively. Also, what's available to the agent is the customer profile. Here you can pull in data from multiple different sources about the student and present it in a single pane of glass like we've done here. You've got recent case history details that are associated with this student. I can go into contact history as the advisor, which will pull back details of all the previous times this student has engaged, whether that be through a chat, an email, or a voice call. It's all presented to the agent here, and they can look back on this and they can go directly to the transcripts of those previous interactions. Also, what I've configured it to do is automatically create a case on behalf of the agent for this student. So course entry criteria not met, and it was generated using this inbound call. But you can see here how I can add comments and an advisor, and what this will happen is student called relating course. What this will do is it will kind of update this case history. And if that student calls again, any further agent that looks at this case can get the most up-to-date details about this this student's specific case. Going back to the main kind of screen here, what you see on screen are what we call step-by-step guides. Now these are essentially guided workflows that are dynamically presented at the point of contact to really help the advisor handle specific types of questions and queries. So as a result of this being a grades not being met issue, I've chosen to present this guide, and this could be a clearing guide, and you can create instructions in how to handle that specific workflow. You can use this to kind of capture information, so you can create a form within this guide where you're capturing information and updating a backend kind of system as part of that process. I've got student information, so you can pull in details from other sources into this guide. And what this really does is it helps agents remain within the agent workspace, prevent the need where they're flicking between multiple different applications, and really helping that kind of student experience as they've got all the relevant information and associated workflows available to them right in front of them. So I'm going to switch back to the role of the student now, and I'll ask a question, and we'll see how Amazon Q and Connect, our real-time agent assist capability, can help this advisor handle this question.
Can you tell me the eligibility criteria for clearing?
So here, as the student asked a question around eligibility criteria for clearing, Amazon Q and Connect, our real-time agent assist capability, is listening to that question and is provided a suggested response. Now, as an advisor, I can click on that, and what it will do is it will start generating a response, leveraging generative AI that looks at a custom knowledge base, and that could be SharePoint, it could be a website, it could be documents hosted with, from your environment that it uses to pull this answer from. So here it's answered that question. The advisor can kind of go in and review this, and they can kind of see that full article as well. But instead of that full knowledge article being presented, the real power is it's able to answer that specific question, leverage this and answer it exactly. So now as the agent, I can kind of answer this question, which I'll do. Thanks for that question. You can use clearing if you didn't receive any offers, declined all your offers, didn't get the grades you needed for a conditional offer. I hope that helps. Perfect. So the agent has been able to kind of address this customer's initial question, leveraging the features available through the real-time agent assist capability. The agent can also manually search if the answer they're getting isn't updating, or they need to search for a different question as part of this response. So for example, I'll ask a different question. Can I apply through clearing if I've gone through UCAS? Okay, so as an agent, I've typed this in. Perhaps I don't know the answer to this question. And again, the agent assist capability is going to look at your knowledge base and provide a response to that question, which they can use to help the student further. So again, keeping the agent within the agent workspace, pulling data from multiple different sources to really help drive that student and agent experience. So I'll go back to the front screen there, and I can end the call as the student. And what you'll get is a generative AI powered summary of that interaction available for the advisor. So they don't need to take notes anymore. They're provided with a summary of what that call was just about, and they've got the full transcript available to them as well, which they can kind of look into and kind of save and digest as well. Okay, so that was just a small demonstration of the agent experience. And of course, all of those features and functionalities work across channels. So I used a voice example, but you would get a similar experience through chat or email. It would be displayed through that same UI. You'd get the same recommendations through Q and Connect, and those same kind of guided workflows can be used to present information to agents. And some of the customer outcomes that we see being leveraged as a result of these kind of features and functionalities, significant cost savings. So NHS-BSA, for example, had a 40% reduction in technology licensing costs as a result of using Amazon Connect. We see organizations such as Pearson save $2.5 million in 12 months. Air Canada saved significant amounts by kind of including automation within the contact center environment as well. With Amazon Connect, not only do you get cost savings, you also drive kind of further efficiencies within your contact center, and things like 20% reduction in call handling time through the use of tools like our agent assist capability, providing that single pane of glass, kind of further enhancements in your routing. So Vodafone in New Zealand went from a complex environment where they had 81,000 interaction paths down to 200 intents. And what this means is a better overall student experience in your use cases, but also it's a lot easier to manage this environment. You're leveraging the technology to do more for you, so you don't have to worry about it as much. Neo Financial, over 60% route to the correct agents without the transfers. By leveraging data you know about the student, you can direct them to the place they need to get to more effectively and efficiently. And finally, Amazon Connect drives a higher satisfaction overall. So companies like Standard Bank saw a 20-point net promoter score increase, drive continuous innovation. Capital One saw feature deployments run from months down to weeks. We have other organizations that are leveraging features within a few days as well. Enhanced service, so DoorDash saw a 12% kind of reduction in call resolution as well. So significant improvements by leveraging Amazon Connect. That's all I wanted to cover for today. I will pass back to Mike.
Thanks, Mo. That was great. We've had a few questions come in. What we'll do is we'll circle back to those at the end, and we'll answer those in the Q&A section. We're now moving on to Rufino, who's going to give us a view of what intelligent automation looks like in this space. Over to you, Rufino.
Thank you very much, Mike. And Mo, very exciting to hear about the capabilities of Amazon Connect. By way of introduction, my name is Rufino Chung, and I'm a practice director from UiPath in Europe. And my focus is on helping our clients apply our AI and automation software to improve their customer and student experience. To pick up the story on contact center modernization as well as transforming student support, ultimately what we find is what students are expecting is, number one, we resolve their issue. Number two is that we do it quickly and ideally with as few contacts as possible. And this is where intelligent automation is critical in orchestrating entire business processes and streamlining complex workflows to resolve the student's issue. So first, let me show you a conceptual model of intelligent automation. And on this slide, it's just a conceptual model. On the next slide, we'll give you a real-life example. But when you think about any particular workflow, be it a HR process, let's say for an onboarding, or a finance process like order to cash, all workflows that UiPath enables, or perhaps more relevant for today, something like student admissions, there are a number of front-end channels, such as Amazon Connect, as well as back-end channels that are involved. And also, to solve the issue, it also will require different tools. So tools like AI agents, specialized AI and ML models, such as for document extraction, robots to automate tasks, and also, of course, to bring in humans in the loop. So think of UiPath first as the lines that orchestrate this end-to-end workflow. And second, think of UiPath as being vendor agnostic in terms of how we enable this workflow. So for example, it could be working with partners like Amazon Connect. It could be utilizing UiPath robots, UiPath AI and ML models, UiPath AI agents, but also involving third-party AI agents as well. So to make it practical, let me show you a real example. So what you see here is a workflow that we currently work with a primarily online school in terms of their student enrollment. And if you think about student enrollment, there are a number of validations that we need to confirm before we can officially enroll that student. And in this case, it would be the student's age, their residency, as well as their different vaccinations. So let me walk you through the workflow, and we'll focus on the left-hand side of the page, and we'll start at the very top left, and then we'll move clockwise in the flowchart. So the first thing is that UiPath Intelligent Automation will retrieve documents submitted by the parents and the caretakers. Next, UiPath will use our specialized AI and ML models to extract the key fields from these documents. And then moving on again clockwise to the next box, UiPath robots can then apply rules to confirm that the information submitted matches the requirements for age, residency, and immunization. Now, finally, moving on to the third box, UiPath robots can then update the enrollment status within whatever CRM systems. Hypothetically, and again, to be very clear, this is not part of this particular case study, but hypothetically, if there was an issue, let's say, for example, like missing documents, then UiPath robots can prompt an action in Amazon Connect so that, for example, it would be to contact the parent for that missing information. What I also want to show is, again, staying on the left-hand side of the page, the next evolution, but now we'll actually go counterclockwise. The key differentiation between the going counterclockwise is this next level of maturity, where instead of utilizing a UiPath robot, we actually utilize a UiPath AI agent to perform that validation of age, immunization, and residency. And the pluses of an AI agent is it allows for more agility as opposed to using program rules of a robot. And this can be especially important, let's say an example where the requirements would change. So far we talked about an example of a workflow that involves UiPath Intelligent Automation, enabling that student enrollment workflow, but it was focused very much on analyzing documents, extracting key fields from documents, performing validation, and then updating some backend systems. So now we want to focus on how UiPath Intelligent Automation and Amazon Connect works together to enable a self-service as well as a contact center end-to-end workflow. So in column one, you have Amazon Connect serving as the front-end channel to identify the student as well as the issue that comes in. And a UiPath can provide capabilities such as interpreting emails, web forms, or documents that would come in. Now, moving on to column number two, if the issue can be resolved through self-service, UiPath can complete that workflow with our robots, AI agents, and accessing backend systems. However, if the issue does need a human representative, here's where UiPath's CX Companion solution and Amazon Connect can work together to enable the representative in the contact center. So what I want to show here is CX Companion within Amazon Connect. And the first thing I want to say is going back to Mo's presentation, CX Companion is an example of a third-party app to Amazon Connect. So in the middle section, you can see CX Companion embedded into Amazon Connect. It can also be viewed in a collapse format, as you can see on the right-hand side. Now, by name, it's called Companion because the purpose is to be a companion to leading CCaaS platforms such as Amazon Connect, So organizations and contact centers can get faster and greater value from their CCaaS deployments. And we do this in 4 ways. Again, number one, as a reminder, we are a third-party app to Amazon Connect. So that means we are contextually aware of the student and the issue that's identified by Amazon. And number two, based on this contextual awareness, UiPath can bring in the additional and relevant sources of data about the student or issue history that would come from, let's say, legacy or mainframe systems. Number three, equally, because again, we have that contextual awareness, we can also bring up additional relevant automations that need to extend into legacy systems and mainframes. And lastly, we keep the human representative on a single pane of glass, which is Amazon Connect, with those additional data sources and automations to complete even more parts of a workflow. So working with intelligent automation, working with partners like Amazon Connect, and through our orchestration of workflows, UiPath works with more than 500 CX and contact center functions to deliver some of the benchmark metrics you see on the slide here, which includes things like, for example, a 20% increase in self-service containment, a decrease in productivity metrics like average handle time, as well as a 10% increase in your quality metrics like first contact resolution, CSAT, as well as NPS. But with that, thank you very much for the time, and I'll pass it back over to Mike.
Thanks, Rufino. That's a great overview of UiPath and how you can take manual workflows and bring in automation to drive that improved experience for students. I think the content that we've shared today, hopefully for those of you dialed in, it's painted a picture of how Amazon Connect as a modern and cloud contact center solution can bring a wealth of improvement as is, and really unify those methods of communication and channels. So a student can interact via WhatsApp, maybe try and do a bit of self-service, can't resolve their question, get a call back from an agent via a phone, and then a follow-up with an email for them to take the next action. And then you've got UiPath as a solution then to build that workflow on top. So to let's say, for example, we are talking about clearing as a situation. You're then looking to enroll the student. You're going to follow up with an email with the details and next steps. Maybe there's a form they have to fill out, and UiPath can handle that workflow and take a lot of the manual grunt work out of that. So the agents are focused on more on the sort of exceptions to the process, if anything. So hopefully we conveyed that today. So just moving on to the next steps here. So, as we're talking about a contact center transformation activity here, it's, these IT projects can be quite complex and costly. So I'm going to talk about what options there are by way of AWS effectively investing in this journey that you might undertake, and what that journey might look like. So we have mapped out a contact center modernization journey here, and we see it as a kind of broadly a six-step or six-phase process. So starting with an initial discovery to have a look at what you do in the organization today, and see how your current contact center solution or solutions, you might have multiple, serving different purposes, serve the business, and then look at building a business case essentially for bringing in a modern contact center solution and some workflow automation and reducing a lot of the kind of manual effort, what that might do to benefit the business, what the cost savings might be, and what the improvements could be had. And then from there, if there is a clear business case, then moving on to designing and planning the contact center implementation and planning the migration from the existing solution to say Amazon Connect. then building a proof of concept off the back of that. So actually implementing a workflow, maybe implementing it for a single channel or a single use case, and validating that it does meet the business case and it does serve purpose, and that you are going to see the return on investment from there. Moving into testing the solution, testing the integration with third-party systems, your existing pieces of software, validating that all works, and then doing a full production implementation, and then rolling that out, training and support and whatnot. So that's the journey really. In terms of AWS investment, this is what it looks like. So the initial discovery and business case, that activity is complementary. There's no cost, no commitment to any organization. So we can go through that activity and understand if Amazon Connect is the right solution for you. Then moving on from that, we've got access to AWS funding and investment options to do the detailed design and planning, and then start doing proof of concept activity to prove out all of this will work in your organization before you invest your own resources into it. So hopefully that will make sense there. The initial discovery phase, this is what it looks like in a little bit more detail. So we undertake this activity. We will, as I said, see if Amazon Connect is right for your use case. It might not be. So we'll have a look at what you're doing today. We'll look at your requirements. We'll see what workflows you've got, and really understand what you're doing as an organization, and then assess if Amazon Connect is going to work for you. Then looking at the total cost of ownership. So having a look at what your current contact center solution costs to run today. So license costs, call costs, all of the operational costs, and the overhead of bringing in, loads of agency staff during certain periods and so on, and then work out what your estimated savings might be in moving to Amazon Connect and doing that workflow automation. Leaning on to actually looking at the automation and workflow optimization opportunities. So there might be manual processes that you do today. We can take out some of the heavy lifting by using, say, UiPath, and looking at your specific use case, speaking with AWS and seeing what investment options there are available to support those follow-on activities. And all of this we'll do at, no cost, no commitment. So with all of that in mind, I think we're ready to move on to the questions. So we did have a few questions as we went through the content. So I think, can we pull these up on the screen? I'm just gonna read them out, and we can answer them from here. So the first question that we had was, is it correct to think that if you only need a service or contact center stack, Connect and its use case profiles can replace Salesforce Service Cloud? So this might be more of a question for you, Mo, but I think the short answer is yes. The long answer is have to look into the requirements and kind of use case a little bit more. But I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Mo.
Yeah, absolutely. So Connect can act as a standalone contact center environment with some native case management capability built in. Of course, it depends on your use of Salesforce and what you are doing with it. Will determine if it's completely separate, or if there's some sort of integration that can be done. But we do integrate with Salesforce natively as well in Amazon Connect.
Great. Thanks, Mo. Next question that we have is, how does Amazon Connect pricing compare with traditional contact center costs? I think that's another one for you, Mo.
Cool. Great question. Thank you, Mike. So traditional legacy contact centers are typically priced at a per agent fee licensing model. And that really hamstrings operations, because in the case of clearing, where you may need, I don't know, an extra 300 agents to handle those calls, you're paying for that license throughout the duration of the year. So you're really bound by those costs. They often involve long-term licensing commitments where you're committed to a minimum term. With Amazon Connect, it's completely different. So firstly, there are no kind of minimum term agreements. You pay per use or pay as you go, if you like. And if I take the example of a voice call, so you would pay a per minute on a voice charge, and as a result of that fee, you would get all of the AI capabilities for that voice interaction. So some of that agent assist capabilities, some of the more detailed reporting, which we didn't demonstrate today, but there's a whole suite of reporting, native capacity planning and forecasting. And what this allows organizations to do is scale up and down as they need without having to worry about costs. So you simply turn on the feature when you're ready to use it, and that's the point you start paying.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mo. Couple more questions. So I think these ones here are probably best for you to answer, Rufino. So the first one is, oh, actually, no, this is a two-parter. So actually, I think this one might be best for you, Mo. So for AWS, is there an AI agent for voice? In the demo showed an AI element that triggered a call. Triage a call, but is there capability to have a full back and forth conversation with an AI agent for voice to reduce calls coming to agents?
Yep, great question. So absolutely. It's called Amazon Q and Connect. So you can essentially create AI agents to look at self-service knowledge bases and provide responses. And you can configure those AI agents to carry out specific tasks as well. So you can completely automate the process of that. And it's not just only voice, those same AI agents can be used for chat and email as well. So that's the power of having everything on a kind of a CCaaS solution like Amazon Connect, is the ability to leverage those agents that you create across your channels.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mo. And then Rufino, a question for you. So for UiPath, is SITS, SITS, a legacy system by your definition? Actually, this is a three-part. So there's a second question to that. So is SITS a legacy system by your definition? Are you familiar with SITS?
Yes, as a student information system. I do think it's worthwhile to bring in Mo into conversation as well, because I think it's probably a bigger question around how we connect to different systems. So yes, UiPath would consider SITS a legacy system that we can connect to in different ways. But I think Mo might be helpful for you to also explain how Amazon Connect also connects to different systems.
Yeah, so Amazon Connect leverages a service called AWS Lambda, which allows you to essentially write code to integrate into services that have an API or a database connection within AWS. For some legacy system like mainframes, you'd need to build like a custom middleware layer, and that's where kind of the UiPath really adds a lot of value because it is able to do that itself. So that's where we complement each other.
Yeah, so then using just again hypothetically with SITS and assuming Amazon Connect is not able to connect to it with the APIs, then this is where we can extend the capabilities by bringing in data information from those legacy systems like a SITS through literally our robots, going in and pulling in data. We also have, computer vision technology as well that basically acts like a human and just reads the screen essentially. So that's how we would access data through something like SITS as an example to bring in more data into Amazon Connect. And there's other parts of the question as well, Mike, if you can help me there.
Yeah, no. I think there are multiple options for connecting to legacy systems, and I think this is where like a discovery activity is quite useful to see what data needs to come out of a system, what the context is, what the use case is, and then sort of understand the best way of achieving that really. But there are plenty of integration options here. Is the safe thing to say. The other part of that question is, can the companion also appear in Salesforce for agents working in that?
Yes. So as mentioned, UiPath is vendor agnostic. So just like what we showed with CX Companion embedded within Amazon Connect, we can do the same with Salesforce and Salesforce Service Cloud.
Cool. And then the last question we have, I think we're sort of answered just on that point, but do you need to, we talked a lot about Amazon Connect and UiPath together in the contact center. Do you need to have UiPath and Amazon Connect together, or can you just run UiPath as is?
So we can work separately, albeit, I think it's always better together, of course. But I think the example that we showed with the case study for student enrollment, that was agnostic of Amazon Connect, where we're doing a lot of back-end work in terms of validating the documents, making sure that the students fits the age, the immunization, and residency. But then you can also imagine a scenario where we can be better together, where we can link in with Amazon Connect, like hypothetically saying, if, for example, there was an issue with the documents that the parent submitted, then triggering some type of flag to Amazon Connect, either with that information. So if the student calls in, we actually know that, and or perhaps be more proactive. But Mo, maybe you want to just chime in a bit in terms of how theoretically we could extend that workflow with Amazon Connect in that student enrollment example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having UiPath as the companion, so the interaction comes in. Amazon Connect passes all its contextual data, understanding this student wants to enroll, and it was able to pass that data, which is ingested by UiPath to kind of trigger those automated workflows that you went into, Rufinho.
Brilliant. Thanks. Thanks, Rufino, Mo, for your presentations and answering the questions today. And thank you to everybody that asked some questions, a lot of detailed and very specific questions there. So I can see that people are already thinking about their own use cases, their own workflows, and how they might improve them with some of the stuff we talked about today. Following on from today, we will follow up with everybody with a recording of this, with copies of the content. As you can imagine, we've only got an hour in the diary today, and there's a lot we can talk about on this. So we will be sharing some other resources, some other demos, some other examples with you all, so that you can get a better understanding of what's possible in this space. We'll also include information about how to follow up with, to speak with us about securing AWS investment for a modernization journey, and what the discovery activity will look like, and so forth. But if anybody has any questions after this event, please do feel free to follow up with us, and we'll speak with the presenters, and we'll get answers back to you by email. Thanks, everyone.